What makes the genocide in Rwanda so unique is that the regime succeeded to convince the general public to kill. How could villagers kill their neighbors? And how could it be done with the blessings of the nation's bishops? And even with the support from European Catholicism and Christian Democrats. The Christian Democratic International, CDI, supported the regime before, during and after the genocide. Rwanda has had a long, unusually strong bond to Christianity. Missionaries started the Belgian colonization. Belgium gave the church authority to handle the administration. Belgium gave the church authority to handle the administration. The Vatican focused on Rwanda because it was such fertile ground for Christianity. The people were monotheistic, and the kingdom already had a well-functioning central administration. Other African colonies had many gods and poor administrations. With the church monopoly on education, the people were rapidly converted. The Belgian colonial powers and the church ruled through the Tutsis, the elite who had long ruled over the actual majority, the Hutus. The Tutsis retained many privileges. Some received higher education. But this led to thoughts of independence. Tension arose between the church and the Tutsis. As independence spread in Africa, the Tutsis turned to the east and contacted African revolutionary leaders.
Et là, ils vont parler de quoi? De communisme. Parce que qui disait communisme au Rwanda, c'était tabou. C'était anti-chrétien. Pour la bonne raison d'ailleurs, Pie XI avait déjà condamné le communisme. Voilà.
Christian Democratic Belgium and the Catholic Church would lose power if the independent Rwanda became communist. They switched sides, now supporting the West-friendly Hutu majority. The Hutu leaders didn't miss the chance to encourage ethnic tension by pointing out the former Tutsi privileges and encouraging revolt. One Hutu leader and later president during the genocide was Theodore Sindikubwabo.
Guhera mu myaka y'igihumbi kimwe na magana urwenda na mirongo itanu abantu batangira kubyinuba ku mugaragaro. Muri za mirongo itanu na gatanu na gatandatu abahutu bamwe bari barize amashuri batangira kubyandika binubira ubwo butegetsi bubi bw'agahato, ubutegetsi bwari bwizwe n'abantu bakeya bakandamizaga abantu benshi.
Hutu farmers listened, they revolted, and a West-friendly coup was staged in 1959. A Christian Democratic Party was formed. European Christian Democrats saw this as a step towards democracy and supported a new leadership.
La Belgique et une série de pays comme l'Allemagne, où les démocrates chrétiens étaient au pouvoir, ont beaucoup aidé la Première République a stabilisé les acquis de la Révolution. Et cette révolution sociale correspondait grosso modo aux priorités et aux conceptions fondamentales de l'Internationale démocrate chrétienne.
But the Rwandan Christian Democratic Party was not democratic. The country was ruled not by the democratic majority, but by the ethnic majority, the Hutus.
kugira ngo rubanda nyamwinshi abahutu benshi bari bagize icyo gihugu n'ubu bakikigize nabo bagire agaciro mu gihugu cyabo. Inyandiko yitwa Manifeste des Bahutu.
Many Tutsis were killed in the takeover and tens of thousands fled north into Uganda. The exiled Tutsis organized a guerrilla army in order to try to retake power and property. Archbishop André Perrodin had influence even in the new regime. He saw the guerrilla as a communist threat to the ideal Christian state and equated them with Satan.
Donc toujours cette comparaison. Le Hutu est très catholique, le Tutsi est communiste.
Bitwa inyenzi. Inyenzi twari udutsiko tw'abasirikare babo bageragazaga gutera ngo bongere basubize ubutegetsi bwabo. Icyo gihe ntibabishoboye.
Thousands of Tutsis were killed in retaliation. The regime, backed by the Belgian military, used religion as a tool. It cited the description of Tutsis as anti-Christian communists, adding that they were a race that God wanted driven out. President Habyarimana was very religious, as was the Belgian king. The two heads of state became good friends. Habyarimana's regime became increasingly fundamentalistic. The church was integrated into the government. Priests managed party affairs on all levels, and the archbishop was a member of the party's central committee.
Qu'est-ce que vous voulez dire? Qu'est-ce que c'était que ce christianisme? C'était un christianisme quasiment obligé. Vous vouliez aller à l'école, il fallait se faire baptiser. On dit que les enfants étaient libres, c'est pas vrai. Si vous voulez être scolarisé, il fallait être baptisé. Si on voulait entrer dans le système que l'Église avait établi, même sur le plan économique, n'est-ce pas, partout, il fallait faire partie de la chrétienté.
The Christian Democrats in Brussels appreciated the strong Christian influence and that the regime was anti-communist. The Christian Democratic Party took over, tolerating no opposition. Citizens were required by law to be party members. Prisons were filled. It was illegal to belong to a group that questioned the church involvement in the government. Those who protested were imprisoned. Belgian Prime Minister Wilfred Martens was the man behind Europe's Christian democratic politics. He was vice president of the Christian Democratic International during the genocide. He too supported Rwanda's leaders. President Habyarimana's power increased with international support. France too supported the regime to gain local influence. But the exploding population was starving, and the tiny elite had confiscated over half of the country's resources. The Catholic Church, tempted by its new power, had done the same. It owned much of the richest land. But the Habyarimana regime chose to use religion to control the people. When the Pope visited Rwanda in September 1990, it was one of Habyarimana's biggest propaganda victories.
Si effectivement le Rwanda est une tentative de créer le royaume de Dieu sur terre, seul le diable peut s'attaquer à cette tentative.
Ubwo iyo niyo ideology icyo gihe batubwiraga ati noneho ubwo igihugu cyatewe umusore w'Abakagera uri hano umva agomba kurwanira igihugu cye agomba gukirwanirira. Ubwo intambara yarateye uko bagendaga bafata uko FPR yagendaga ifata ahantu niko natwe intambara yagendaga igenda iturambira buhoro buhoro ukabona abasirikare bari kugenda bacika intege.
Amashyaka amwe yegama ku ruhande rwa FPR andi mashyaka akomeza gushyigikira guverinoma.
When the attack began in October 1990, Habyarimana flew to his friends in Brussels. He was granted an audience with the king. The king wrote to Prime Minister Wilfred Martens, who immediately received Habyarimana. Before the day was over, Belgian troops were heading for Kigali. But Habyarimana realized that a conventional military victory against a well-equipped guerrilla was impossible. So the party formed a militia that would become the backbone of the genocide. The youth organization of the Christian Democratic Party was called Interahamwe, We Who Fight Together.
Interahamwe rero rwari urubyiruko rw'ishyaka rwasabye gukora urugaga rw'urubyiruko harimo abasore n'abakobwa.
Abaturage bari barasabwe kurinda amakomune yabo, amasegiteri yabo n'amaserere yabo. Bari barasabwe gushyiraho amazamu ngo barebe abantu binjira, abantu basohoka.
Rwanda was militarized. The youth militia was trained by the military, police and the politicians. Habyarimana ordered businessmen to equip them.
Niyo mpamvu nsaba Secretariat National, niyo mpamvu nsaba umunyamabanga mukuru wacu kumvikana n'abacuruzi kugira ngo dushake ibitambaro by'interahamwe.
But they didn't just provide clothes. The businessman Felicien Kabuga imported machetes. The violence against the Tutsis escalated. Terrorism occurred openly, often after inflammatory party meetings. Soon, human rights organizations reported genuine massacres. The United Nations was also concerned and forced the regime to negotiate peace with the Tutsi guerrilla RPF in Arusha, Tanzania. With international support, the disaster might have been avoided. But the Christian Democratic International advised the regime not to sign any agreement of power sharing. The Tutsi guerrilla were still perceived as communists.
Il s'agit en fait de protéger une œuvre de Dieu contre les forces du mal.
The propaganda became increasingly religious. The regime-friendly press printed the Hutu 10 Commandments, which encouraged persecution of Tutsis in all parts of society. One paper rejected talk about love and unity in a dialogue between Mary, Jesus and Joseph. Habyarimana was portrayed in a bishop dress. The church also participated, describing the Tutsis as cursed by God. The Bible was often quoted in media and political speeches. One of the most well-known speeches was made by party leader Leon Mugesera on the radio.
Et maintenant, psychologiquement, le tout, c'est ton serpent. Comment voulez-vous alors? Ça n'a rien à faire. Vous tuez, en direction vous attaquez. Donc, c'est l'autodéfense.
A few months before the genocide, a youth leader left Interahamwe and informed the world that the genocide was being planned.
We find dozens of evidence in the archives from the foreign minister in Belgium, and these archives shows very clearly that not only Belgium had this information, but that this information was shared with the United Nations, the US, and France.
None of the informed countries acted. On April 6, as he returned to Kigali, Habyarimana's plane was shot down. Everyone on board was killed. Just hours later, the most time-efficient genocide in history began.
biriya by'abatutsi yuko tuzabimarira kwipfa cyangwa se ku icumu cyangwa ku moko, ahubwo Imana yaziteguriye umuriro.
Everywhere, Tutsis were murdered. Killing came to be called work.
Hari inzu twagiyemo icyo gihe, numva hari harimo nk'abantu nka 6. Aho naho nahishemo umuntu, abandi nabo ntwa turi kumwe nabo barabica.
Arangije mama yamfashe, yadufashe twese ko naje ngo batwica.
Niko byagenze ibyo byose. Uko itegeko ryaza gukubwiriza ryazaga execution rapide gutyo.
Batwirukana kuko mutandi kumwe na mama papa.
All Tutsis were to be killed. Not even babies were spared. No one must be left. During the 3 months genocide, the church supported the regime. Rwanda's Catholic bishops wrote a document promising to obey and support the new president and his regime. Many of the country's priests and nuns helped kill Tutsis. Christian Democrats in Brussels also supported the regime. Even in June, documents encouraged Europe's Christian Democrats to continue supporting their friends in Rwanda. They gave the regime diplomatic support in contacts with Belgium. In July 1994, the Tutsi guerrilla defeated the genocidal regime, which fled to neighboring Congo, then called Zaire. 1 million people were dead, and 3 million were displaced. Several of the regime's leaders have now been convicted for genocide. No one from the Christian Democratic International has been charged.